Unbeaten in their upsets upheld throughout the postseason, we talked to Matt Kelson and Chris Cook about Wasatch continuing to shock the 5A playoffs. Also, a revenge game down in Cedar tonight. We talked to the South Summit Wildcats about why this game means more than any other. And finally, the Park City Girls volleyball team having quite the season. We talked to Coach Carlson about their postseason run. It's a brand new episode of The Scoreboard, and it's coming up right now. Well, we talked to Matt Kelson at the end of the summer, but we also wanted to talk to him as the season quickly comes to a close. Matt Kelson, the sophomore quarterback over at Wasatch, has had quite the tear, and over the last 2 weeks have come up with some huge upset victories over Woods Cross as well as Spanish Fork, two teams that they were not supposed to beat but end up coming up with the victories. We talked to Mac a little bit about this season and what he's looking forward to in the future. Hey everyone, right now we are joined by the sophomore quarterback that has been taking the state of Utah by storm, Matt Kelson. Mac, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to talk to you after, a season has kind of played out. You're not out of it yet. I got to be honest with you, Mac. How surprised are you that this team is still in? I mean, obviously not too surprised, but it's been some unbelievable upset wins over the last couple of weeks.
No, for sure. Ever since Woods Cross, it's been, I think we need it. It's like, since we lost so many games in the regular season, then winning in the playoffs is kind of like we got nothing to lose. We're the lowest seed. Like, we're going up against all these higher ranked teams than us. We're just going to go put it all out on the field and give it everything we got. We got nothing to lose.
It has been crazy. I mean, the Woods Cross win was just an unbelievable interception by Tavian Edwards. Oh, yeah. The Spanish Fork win was another interception by Tavian Edwards, and then being able to convert was Chris Cook. I mean, what has been going on with this team that has just created just these problems for these other teams that are playing you guys?
I don't know. Honestly, I think it's kind of been like a mentality, like something within the team has like changed within the last 3 weeks. Everyone is kind of just like more motivated, and I don't know. It's been a lot more fun, and the coaching staff has made practices a little harder, honestly, and I think it's kind of got us ready for these better teams. So
that's absolutely fascinating. I'm seriously just so fascinated by this uptick in performance by every single one of you. I mean, going into the playoffs, it looked on paper like you were going to lose that game against Woods Cross, but you come out and you put up a fight and you're actually able to get the win. Overall, which was the tougher game? Was it Spanish Fork or was it Woods Cross?
I would say Spanish Fork, just because I think they had a little bit of an advantage because they had beat us just like 36 to 30 by 36.
You beat them by 30, so it was 20 to 56. They had beaten you by 36.
Yeah, they had beaten us by 36. So coming off that game, I think they were pretty confident, and then that honestly just like motivated us. We were just like, they're gonna be so confident. We're just gonna go punch them in the mouth off the get-go, and that's what we did.
That is exactly what you did. Mac, I've got to ask you, just a couple of months ago, we were up in those bleachers talking, and you were so excited for this season. I was so curious what kind of a season you were going to have. What has this sophomore season been like for you?
Oh, it's ideal. I've been loving it. It's anything I can imagine, honestly. It's my dreams, honestly. So yeah. I love it.
What specifically has maybe been the highlight of being the quarterback for this team so far this year?
Just like, honestly, the brotherhood that you get with all your team and everyone, just family, honestly. It's just, they're my brothers. Like, I got all sisters at home, but right here, this is all my brothers.
I got to ask you about the magic pairing. I mean, it might be the most dangerous duo in the entire country, and I absolutely am serious when I say that. I'm not embellishing this. Yeah. You and Crew Erickson at the top of the national numbers all season long. He's been your number one target. Oh, yeah. What has it been like throwing the ball to Crew?
It's been relieving. It's like when I need a play, I just gotta look for number one out on the field and throw it up to him. He's a dog. He just goes and makes plays. So keep getting the ball to him. Keep getting the ball to Chris. All our playmakers, Carter, JoJo. Honestly, all our receivers are playmakers. So get the ball to any of them, they're going to make plays.
You bring up an interesting point there. You have Crew, who's a senior. You've also got Chris, who's a senior.
Yeah.
Next year, I mean, it's fair to say it's going to be Carter who's going to be stepping up into that role. How do you think that he will adjust to becoming the number 1 option compared to possibly the number 3 option, I would say?
Yeah, I think he's going to adjust really well, honestly. I think Carter's kind of like just waiting for his moment because Crew's here right now, but I think he's just like waiting for his moment. He's really going to get it next year. Him and JoJo and Tavian, all these guys are pretty young, and they're going to be pretty experienced, I think, next year.
Where do you think Tavian's going to be? Do you think he's going to move back over to the wide receiver position?
I think he's play both ways next year. Yeah.
I mean, he has been key on the defensive side of the ball. Can you just speak on Tavian? I mean, we've talked about Carter, we've talked about Crew. Can you just speak on Tavian? I mean, he has potentially been the MVP of this team so far throughout these playoffs. The biggest key defensive plays have been number 23 on the field.
Oh, yeah. No, I completely expected it coming into the season, honestly, because I have been prepping with him before season, and I've been with him for like a year and a half, and we've been around his family and stuff. And no, yeah, I've completely expected this out of Tavian. He's a baller. He is a baller, and he is such a good kid on the field, off the field. He's all around just a great athlete.
I wanted to ask you a little bit again, as we're kind of talking about the end of this season. Can you just speak on the number 1 thing that you've learned this year? I mean, obviously you have gone through a whirlwind of difficulties, highs, lows, win streaks, lose streaks, and now you're in the quarterfinals of the 5A playoffs, the youngest quarterback in the playoffs still. I mean, can you just speak on what is the number 1 thing you've learned from the summer up until now?
I would say just forgetting about your mistakes as soon as it happens, because there's nothing you can do about it once it's already happened. Just to look forward and stay positive. I think that's the biggest thing, because I think everyone at Wasatch could have held their head down, and we were, what were we, 3 and 6? Yeah, everyone could have held their head down, but instead we like flipped it around and said we're gonna make a difference actually right here, and we're gonna come back. And so, yeah.
Who would you say were some of the leaders in terms of that kind of emotional switch?
Definitely Cade and Luke, Chris, all are just our team captains. Crew, Chris, Geraldo, all these guys have been more vocal recently, and I think everyone's just like kind of following in their footsteps, and they, again, are just dogs. They just lead the way.
I think that's one of the craziest things about this is that on paper, your entire team has been through the roof in terms of numbers, but the wins just weren't stacking up the way that other teams here in the Wasatch back were, and it was kind of difficult to watch because we knew where the skill was. Do you feel like you found your footing here in the 5A playoffs and peaked at the right time?
Oh, for sure, yeah. This is definitely the right time for us to be peaking. So, yeah, and it's going to be fun.
How much has your dad been involved in just like the mental preparation throughout this entire season? Because I'm sure it's probably the toughest season you've had so far throughout your life because you're playing at the highest stage.
My mom actually has definitely been like probably a bigger part this season, honestly. Yeah, she's helped me out a lot, like mentally, just before games. She always is helping me with the plays, and every dinner I'm always talking to her about their defense and what I'm looking for on the field, and she actually is starting to get it. It's kind of funny. She understands about football now. And yeah, my dad has definitely been a big part. He just keeps me, he always sends me like a game day quote, and he just keeps me mentally locked in.
Last question from me. Going into this game against Timpview, what's going to be the keys to victory? What do you need to do to once again upset another team for the 3rd week in a row?
I would say everyone just has to do their part. Just everyone has to do their assignment and know their job, and everyone has to beat the one-on-one.
We get 2 more years of this, kid, so make sure to keep an eye out for Matt Kelson. We appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. Hey everyone, right now we are joined by Wasatch senior Chris Cook. Chris, I just got to ask you first of all, how has this season been going for you guys?
It's been kind of up and down. I mean, especially the last 3 games have been quite up, but hopefully we can keep doing it that way, but it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. I mean, to see what was going on near the end of the regular season and then to see this run that you've been on throughout the playoffs, I mean, it's been pretty unbelievable. Has there been any changes going on with the team in terms of practice, in terms of camaraderie? What's been going on?
Defensively, we've made practice a little bit more physical. I think everyone's kind of come together at the end of the season. It's like, we don't want to go out this way. We want to kind of just go out with a bang. So, yeah, I think we all just kind of had a different change in mentality. But
I got to ask you. So let's talk a little bit about the big final play last week, or not the final play, I should say, but I would say probably one of the most crucial plays of the entire season. Obviously, the Tavian interception a couple weeks ago was huge as well, but right up there was the 4th and 1, up 6 on your own 48. I mean, what was going through your head when the coach called your number on that one?
Just get the first down. And that was it. I mean, and then it just happened to be a big play, but I was just trying to get 1 yard.
When you realized that you had gotten the first down, what was going through your head?
Get a touchdown. I tried getting it, but they caught me. But
let's talk a little bit about touchdowns. So I think at the beginning of the season, we talked how many touchdowns are you predicting for yourself this year? You had 8 your junior season, 9 this last year. What do you think this year?
let's go 15.
You have 18 now. I mean, what has this senior season been like for you personally?
Personally, it's been good. I mean, there's games where I'm just in pass pro a lot of the time, just protecting Mac and helping with the O-line. But so far, it's been like my best rushing yards year and total yards, so it's been good.
Yeah, you've been a huge key point to this offense. Have you noticed that defenses have kind of been picking up on you a little bit more as you have kind of become the number one option? If they're not throwing it out to Crew, they're going to you.
Yeah, I definitely, depending on like where I am, they'll say like, watch this direction, depending on where I'm lining up, or they'll just call out my name, like watch the run. I mean, so that they definitely know what's happening and have definitely key on me. But
talking about that a little bit, some of the other offensive weapons, I mean, number one being Crew Erickson as well. Can you just speak on him and how good he has been this season? Because the two of you have just been such incredible offensive threats.
Yeah, so this is Crew's first year starting, like for sure, and he's kind of just blown everybody away, almost to a surprise. I mean, me personally, I honestly wouldn't have expected him to be where he is, but it's honestly crazy. He just kind of has that dog in him. I mean, just competitive and just will beat you on one-on-one. So,
is it weird that the season is quickly coming to a close? I mean, you potentially win on Friday night. You've got 2 more games after that potentially, but Friday could be the last time you suit up for Wasatch. Has it been weird realizing like these are the last times I'm going to be playing, and oh my gosh, the football season is coming to a close?
Oh yeah, I mean, from starting from my sophomore year, it just feels like last year. I mean, it goes by so quick. I mean, they're not lying when they say it just goes by so fast. It does. So I'll realize it once it's done, but
for right now, you're focused on Timpview. What are going to be some of the keys to victory to beat a team that is the number 2 seed in all of 5A?
Just keep your foot on the pedal. I mean, don't let up and just have aggression, meet their competitiveness. I mean, definitely they're the oversized and we're undersized. Definitely have the advantage, but I mean, just be aggressive. I mean, just put it all out there. Do what you can.
You've had 2 incredible, I wouldn't say comeback wins, but big wins that were upsets. And I'm curious which of those teams was tougher and which victory was sweeter.
I'd still say Spanish Fork was tougher. I mean, they have some big dudes. So their D line's really good. I'd say Spanish Fork. I like that win because for them to beat us by 30-plus points the first time, and then for us to go onto their home field and beat them was good. So
yeah, 36 points back in September, and so to beat them this time, do you think they were a little bit shocked at how much better you were the second time around?
I mean, I think they were. To us, I mean, I knew we could play. I mean, I knew we could compete. We just had a bad game. I mean, I think our emotions and we just weren't in the game. So it wasn't too surprising to me that we kept with them and eventually won. But
last question from me: is there any message you have for the students of Wasatch? Do you need them out there at Mountain View High School on Friday night? It's not at Timpview. It's going to be at Mountain View High School. So just want to make sure that's also clear. But do you have any message for any of the students or anything like that?
Yeah, come out, support us, be loud, come help us get a W maybe.
They are on an absolute tear, the Wasatch Wasps. Chris, thank you so much. Well, if you remember last year, it is very similar to what the South Summit Wildcats face this week. An undefeated season, first place in region, and headed into the semifinals of the 2A state playoffs, they have to face none other than Beaver. And South Summit going into this season, same thing, undefeated season, first in region, going into the state semifinals up against Beaver. Last year they lost. This year they want to make sure that that does not happen once again. Hey everyone, right now we are joined by Weston Atkinson, once a player turned to coach. Weston, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Doing very well. Weston, we're talking to you today. We're talking about South Summit football specifically because of the big matchup tomorrow. As this airs, it'll be tonight technically. How much are you looking forward to getting one back at Beaver?
Oh, I think all the kids are just ready, and this has turned into a good rivalry because every year, start of the season, they just want to play Beaver.
It seems like that's kind of been the case. I mean, can you just kind of give us a little bit of the backstory? What happened last year and how much it's almost identical to this year coming into this week?
Yeah, we go 11-0 going to Cedar last year. Then we're up 14-7 at half, and we didn't come out good in the end, and 21-14 Beaver. Tough loss.
Yeah. And so going into this game, I mean, I've talked to a bunch of kids on this team already this year, and they all say they want Beaver. They wanted Beaver. They were happy they beat Summit Academy last week. What have the kids been, what has the talk been, I guess, this week going into that game?
Just preparing. Preparation is key because I've never seen so many kids watching film. Their preparation has been unmatched from any other game, I think. Yeah, it's more mental than anything right now.
In comparison to last year, how much more do you think the kids are hungry and prepared, I should say, going into this game in comparison to last year?
I think it's about the same because at the end of the day, it's business and everyone has to go play ball.
So it's the 2A semifinals, and so a win here means that this team could be playing for the state championship next week. You don't know who it's going to be. It's likely to be San Juan, but we're not sure just yet, obviously. How much do you think that these kids are looking forward to that, or is it just laser focused right now on Beaver?
I think in weeks past it's been looking ahead to the next game, but I think right now we're focused on Beaver. We don't care who we play.
What are going to be the keys for this South Summit team? You're a coach on this team. You coach both the offense and the defensive line. What's going to be the key to beat Beaver this time around?
We got to be perfect. No penalties. We got to be smart. Just all come together and play ball.
Let's talk a little bit about this season just overall in general. What have your thoughts been, or how impressed have you been with this team so far?
I think these kids have been awesome because they're just become good young men. I think as coaches, we're trying to make them become good young men, but then they've come out on the field and been good men on the field and just played really good ball.
What do you think, for you personally, as a coach this year, what have you personally enjoyed the most about being a coach, being able to watch these kids grow from week 1 now going into week 12?
Yeah, exactly what you said. Just seeing them become better and better and better because we've gotten better from week 1 all the way to here.
Yeah. In terms of if you are to get the win, and who would you rather face going into the state championship next week?
I don't really care. I think at the end of the day, those teams are both really good.
It's going to be a tough game, and so leading into it, I'm very excited to see what this matchup looks like. I do want to ask you a little bit, how is KLB looking? I know he's coming off of that injury. He was about probably 50-60% last week. How's he looking going into this week?
He's looking really good, yeah. I think he's just gotten way better from where he was, and his ankle's doing real good.
Who are some of the offensive and defensive linemen that you have been really impressed by this year?
Tegan Hudson and Noah Gunderson and Caden Hunter and Brady Freeman and Mitchell Gampler, Gavin Ross. I could say every single one of them because they're all studs.
How has it been dealing with the weather? How has it been having earlier games than usual the last couple of weeks?
I think last week we started out a little slower because we've been practicing at 5:30 and the game was at, I think, 4. And it was just different mindset to prepare because you get out of school at 2:30 and you go take a nap and you're ready for the game at 7. But now they got out of school and they went right to preparing for the game.
Final question from me, a final score prediction from you. How do you think you get it done in Beaver?
How about 28-14?
Well, we absolutely can't wait for it. Good luck on the bus ride. Good luck in the game, Coach. We can't wait for it. Thank you so much. Well, heading into the first round of the 5A girls volleyball playoffs, Brent Martindale had the chance to talk to Matt Carlson a little bit about this run that the team has been on and what they look forward to as the postseason ensues. Here is Matt Carlson and Brent Martindale.
Hey, we're with Matt Carlson. It is exciting here tonight. Park City High School, the first round of the Utah volleyball playoffs. Matt Carlson, congratulations for being here and hosting the first round tonight versus Murray High School. Coach, tell us a little bit about what you know about Murray. You just played them.
We played them a week ago, and this is our second time playing them this year because they're one of our region teams here, and they're getting better. You know, the first time we played them was pretty one-sided, and the second time was a lot closer match, and they're just getting better and better. They're a well-coached team, and you know they're young and they're hungry. They have a great setter who runs a 5-1 over there, and so there's going to be a tough match tonight. We're excited though. We're prepared for it.
I have noticed that they have climbed the rankings a little bit, but they've sort of been in that spot. So, you know, it doesn't matter sometimes. First round of playoffs, anything can happen. What have you done to help prepare your kids for this?
Man, that is the secret and the question for sure. Really, it's just focusing on fundamentals, is teaching these kids how to be mentally tough, be in the present moment. You know, we've been playing with music on in practice, making it real loud, trying to recreate that tension moment and trying to put pressure on in practice. And so that's been our big focus, is say, hey, let's play simple, let's play smart, let's play clean, and let's like take the emotions out of it, right? And just play logical, smart volleyball.
One of your seniors, Ashley Fannin, was actually injured against Murray, you told me earlier. Tell me how she's doing tonight and maybe any other injuries you might need to talk about.
Yeah, in fact, she just came over and talked with me. A little nervous, right? Because this is her first ankle injury of the year, and against Murray a week ago, and so she's worried about rolling it again. But we talked through it, and so she's feeling pretty good and pretty confident right now. She's a big, huge asset on the right side for us. And yeah, right now we're healthy. That was the only injury we had right now, but we had a few people with a few bumps and bruises here and there, but we're feeling like we're 100% right now.
You guys are describe your type of team against their type of team in terms of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, the one thing that's really impressive about Murray is they are very scrappy, right? They have a really good defensive just hustle.
You mentioned their setter too, but yeah, okay, defensively.
Yeah, just defensively. And they just don't let balls drop very often. And they have a pretty freakishly good setter who runs just a really nice offense. So really where we struggled last time against him was our defense was not doing well. We kept losing the long rallies, which kind of messed with the mindset of the kids. And so really we really honed in our defense and our blocking just to help shut down you know, just any offensive threat they have. And then, you know, obviously just fine-tuning our offense, speeding up our offense quite a bit, getting our middles more involved, and I think we'll be ready.
Matt Carlson, the Park City High School girls head coach, will let you go be with your girls. Best of luck tonight.
Okay, thanks, Brent. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you so much for watching the scoreboard. On Tuesday, we're going to be talking Wasatch versus Timpview, the big game that takes place tonight at Mountain View High School. On top of all that, we're going to be kind of transitioning from our fall sports into our winter sports as a lot of tryouts kick off early next week. For Brent Martindale, I'm Blake O'Rourke, and we will see you all next time.